Yep.
And how often is it, and maybe I'm not right with this, but when you talk about the two houses, or the House and the Senate, and the governor, and you could maybe argue as the Republican leader in the House, you maybe have a better relationship with the Democratic governor than the Democratic leader in the Senate.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's a perfect
Yeah.
example of
Yeah.
breaking down the barriers of
Yeah, they do
political
not.
parties.
They do not get along.
Is that just a one-shot deal, or is that like an ongoing?
No, it's an ongoing thing. Yeah, they do not get along at all. So right now, the makeup of state government is Republicans control the House, Democrats control the Senate, and we have a Democrat governor. So very often, I feel like it's me against the world, which is fine. I'm happy with that. About 2 months ago, there was a really public situation where the governor. Did I give too much information on this the last time?
Oh, it was good.
It was okay.
Really good.
There was a situation about 2 months ago where the governor came out and gave pay raises to all of his commissioners. And the commissioners are the people that run each one of the departments of the state. So, MnDOT, Department of Transportation, Health and Human Services, that's a department. And he has one commissioner that runs that department for him, and he appoints those commissioners. Well, he gave all of his commissioners from all the departments about a 30% pay increase. Probably 30% pay increase. Which was huge, and they all make over $100,000 a year. So I mean, these people were getting $30,000 and $40,000 pay increases in one day. Huge. Like my salary is $31,000 a year. So I mean, these people were all getting a raise of more than what I make in one day, and with no legislative oversight, no legislative approval, anything like that. He just did it. The Senate Majority Leader from his own party went onto the Senate floor and on a bill that was not really related to that, offered an amendment personally. He did it himself. Now, these are the two top Democrats in the state. The Senate Majority Leader offered an amendment on the Senate floor to freeze these pay raises for 6 months, and he didn't tell the governor he was going to do it ahead of time. Well, that afternoon, the governor went out and did a press conference and just blasted the Senate Majority Leader. You stabbed me in the back, I can't trust you, I won't be in a room alone with you again. Literally, the governor said that he trusted me, the guy from the other party, more than he trusted the guy from his own party. And I just have taken a personal tact of, I think you get more accomplished by being nice and by being friendly than you do by being adversarial. And maybe this is one of those lessons for life that you can take from this, if there's anything you take away from here. You can yell at somebody, you can, I could have gone in front of the media and just hammered on the governor for doing that, saying, oh, this is irresponsible, whatever. But what I did is I just sat back and waited. There's also another rule in politics. When your enemies are fighting with each other, don't get in the way. Don't step in, just let them fight. So I stepped back for a week and didn't say anything. And then that same bill that was on the Senate floor, I had to pass off the House floor the next week. And it was an emergency relief bill, I think. I can't remember what the bill was. I want to say it was an emergency relief bill, and we needed to get out fairly quickly, a kind of disaster relief bill. So it was something we needed to pass in a timely fashion. So the next week, after leaving it sit for a week, I called the governor on his cell phone in the morning. I got up and, the night before, what I could have done, basically, was pass the bill exactly the way I had a choice. I could have passed the bill exactly the way the Senate passed it. Exactly. And had I done that, it would have went right to the governor's desk. He vowed that he would veto it. It would have gone back to the Senate, and the Senate Majority Leader said that he would override the veto, and then it would come to us, and then it was up to, you need 2/3 of the body to override. So I needed my majority, plus I needed, what is the number? Like 18, I think I needed to override a veto. I think I need 18 Democrats. Well, if the Democrats put up those votes, we would have overridden the governor's veto and froze the pay raises. If they wouldn't have overridden the veto, if they wouldn't have put up the votes, I could have campaigned against them for not rolling back these pay increases. And it would have been the best issue I could have ever had in the campaign against the Democrats. So I mean, there was almost no way that I could have lost in this situation. Every option for me was a win. But instead of doing that, what I did is called the governor and said, Governor, let's work this out. I need to pass this bill. Is there something we can work out that everybody can live with, some agreement? And I said, why don't we talk face to face? He said, great, let's get together. And I said, let's do it right away, because I need to have a bill posted by noon today. So I jumped in my car by myself without staff, drove over to the governor's residence, and I met with him and his chief of staff for 20 minutes. In that 20 minutes, I got him to agree to leave that language in, to delay for 6 months. I also got him to reinstate the legislative oversight, which they had taken out 2 years before. Both things he said he wasn't going to do. And the compromise was I left one day, July 1st. So the 6-month window ran out on June 30th, and the legislative oversight went back in place on July 2nd. So he has 1 day to increase the pay if he wants to, on July 1st. That was the compromise.
What do you think he'll do?
I think he'll increase the pay. And then we'll have another 2 weeks of stories about how horrible that is, and it'll be really good for me politically. Which was why I did it. No, I did it because it was the right thing to do. And ultimately, he has the authority to do it. I can't take that away from him. And this is the best deal that I could negotiate. So the media reported after that meeting that I basically had been the peacemaker between these two. And shortly thereafter, they had a press conference together, and they wrapped their arms around each other and said how great they were getting along. Trust me, all for the cameras. They do not get along. Which I was able to use to our advantage throughout the session. But anyways, that's kind of just how I operate. I could have navigated that a few different ways and really stuck it to both of them for my own political gain, but I chose not to. I chose to be the bigger person and just negotiate it in a way that that really, I think, solved the problem and kind of ended the controversy. So our joke then, that literally the Senate Majority Leader, who is a pretty good friend of mine, jokes all the time that the governor is my best friend. So, which of course we're from opposite parties, so it's a little bit of a jab. But anyways, so that's how that worked out.